Alright, welcome to lesson 19. In today's lesson, we're going to be looking at arpeggios. Arpeggios. What are arpeggios? Well, arpeggios are simply chords that are played in a broken manner. So for example, instead of just playing it like this, right? Play it like this. Right? Now, this can be played with the right hand, the left hand, or both. Right? In the example that I just played, the left hand played most of the arpeggiated stuff. The right hand was just simply keeping the melody. And you're going to find that there are different times when you're going to need to play the arpeggiated stuff in your right and just play a chord in your left. For example, right? Oh holy night. Or right? There are going to be times when you're going to do both. So in order to practice your arpeggios, I have a few recommendations for you. Number one, play each note with the same amount of velocity or the same amount of pressure. So see, all the notes should get the same amount of pressure when you're striking it. All right, that way your arpeggios will be even, and when they're even, it's easier to work on things like dynamics, right, and speed, etc. So you want to ensure that you're playing this even. So each note is getting the same amount of pressure, no matter the key you're in. And in order for us to give each note the same amount of pressure, all you have to do is to strike each key very hard. The keyboard is not going to break, all right? However, it's easier to strike the keys hard than to measure how soft you're playing the note. All right, you don't want to do that because then you have to think a lot about the dynamics of each note as opposed to the correctness of each note. All right, the next thing that I want to suggest is that you practice with both hands. That way, one hand is never going to be light years ahead of the other hand. All right, you want to ensure that at least both hands are developing. All right, whatever your right hand is doing, your left hand can do it too. All right, I'm still working on that, so I'm not going to speak as though I'm the best at this. Like, I'm working on this right now. All right, the next thing that I want you to do is play the block chords first. So if you're practicing, and when you're practicing, always play it slowly. All right, so all right, and then play the arpeggios for that. So that was C major. All right, first inversion. All right, and this will help you if you're playing things like right? When you're doing things like that, it helps because both hands are doing it. All right, and practice in multiple keys. Don't just play it for C. Come on now. All right, so I want you to take this to D. Take it to E, take it to F, to G, to G flat, to D sharp to C sharp. All right, you'll realize that each key comes with a different landscape, right? So you have to, your fingers will have to get used to those positions. All right, so let's look at some cases where arpeggios are used. So we did this song, all right, and we see that the left hand was arpeggiated the most, right? It's broken chords. This is in the left hand, I'm playing E, B, and then E again, right? So that's a perfect fifth or just the octave, but instead of doing that, I'm going to add, right? I'm going to add G as well, so that gives me an E minor. So instead of just playing this, right? You want to make it bigger. So you play it. Now I'm thinking about dynamics because that's going to bring off the feel, right? Right? That's arpeggiating the left hand. What about arpeggiating the right hand? A lot of compositions, when they're ending, they will arpeggiate the last chord. All right, like that. And that was just a C major triad. So to arpeggiate over 2 octaves, all right, and then I put my thumb under, thumb under, thumb under, all right. All right, and then you can practice this over just 2 octaves, ascending and descending. All right, just like that. And do the same thing for the other chord. All right, now don't think that only major triads can be arpeggiated. Any chord can be arpeggiated, whether that's a minor chord. Right. It can be a minor sixth. All right. Another way that you will see chords arpeggiated is like that. That's not a scale. That's an arpeggiated chord. All right. Like that. That's another arpeggio as well. And what you saw there was I'm using both hands. Right? So this is F major 9th and I'm adding the 13th. Now let's check this out. I'm just going to play the upper structure of the chord with my right and the first 2 notes with my left. And I'm going to cross my hands over. So cross over, right? And I don't have to play this last note just yet. So like that. All right? And the more you do it, the better you'll become at it. Or if it's a diminished chord, like That's an arpeggio as well. It's not a scale. So any chord can be arpeggiated. All right, so I want you to go ahead and practice your arpeggios. Start with your triads. All right, and then add your sevenths, add your major sevenths, whatever the case is. All right, remember, the goal is not to be the best in a day. The goal is to become better every time you play. So hey, if you like that one, check out the next one. And don't forget, hit that subscribe button and let's be better together. Peace.